Hello, my lovely edge dwellers. Lucca here, Power Sorcerer. And it is Ask Lucca Live, episode 26 on September the 12th. So here we go. I'm on just a few minutes early so that we can gather everybody together. So feel free to say hi in the chat when you arrive. I'm just pulling up my list of questions. Hi, Robin. We will get to your question today, Robin. I think you're at the top of my list. And who else have we got here? Hi, Sherry. I'm just looking for I seem to have lost my list of questions, so bear with me for a moment. This is not so great. What have I done with them? Okay, found my questions again. This is a very good thing. Now I have to move it to where it's supposed to be because I accidentally deleted it, which is not a good thing. So there we go. So welcome to everybody showing up. Hi, Melissa. Nice to see you. Hi, Flora. So now I'm feeling much better because I've now rescued all my questions. I don't know how that happens, but yes. There we go. Much better. So we've got, let me just check my time here. Yes. Yeah, it's time for us to get going. So I think your name is Paula. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, so I hope I'm saying that correctly because I know you've got a question today. So welcome everyone. This is to officially start here. It's Ask Lucca Live episode 26 on September the 12th, and we're just getting going here. So for any of you who haven't been part of one of these before, I have pinned to the top of the posts in the Ask Lucca Live Facebook group. Hi, Andrea. I have, hi, Judy. I have a list of things that you should keep in mind as I do my readings. So I encourage you to take a look at that if you've got a moment. What I say to everybody when I start these sessions is that your gut feel about what's right for you is more important than anything anybody can tell you, and that includes me. So never give your power away to someone else. You're the only one who's the expert on you. So if I tell you anything that, or I say anything to anybody else that doesn't feel completely right to you, then I suggest that you put it in what I call a holding tank, which is, yes, I have. I haven't figured out how to make that light me up without putting circles in my glasses, and maybe I can shift this. Just no, we're still gonna have. I think I'm just gonna have a circle in my glasses for today. That it wasn't there earlier. So maybe that's a little bit better. It's not quite so bright. Now I'm side lit. This is my ongoing challenge. I'm learning how to manage all of this. So anything I might say about the future is a probability only, and it's based on the idea. I'm glad you're appreciating it, Robin. My circle and my glasses. It's based on the idea that you've got momentum going with however it is that you're living your life right now. And you have free will. So whatever the probability is of what's coming in your life, you still have the ability to change that based on how much you want to change it. So if it's something that's really important to you and you work really hard at it, then you can most likely change it. And so free will is one of those wild cards, right? You have it, and so does everybody else in your life. So you can imagine the exponential numbers in terms of influences on your life to change the outcome of anything. So that's important for all of us to remember all the time, is that that nothing is a foregone conclusion. So I'm going to start in with my, wait a minute, I'm just going to move that from the top of my screen. I'm going to start in on the questions, because I think we've got 6 of them this week, and any others that might come up in the chat here if we have time for them. Any that I don't have time for, I'll grab them out of the chat, and I'll put them at the top of the list for next week. So we will get to them. It's just a matter of this week or next week. And I'm planning on continuing with all of this. When we get to the end of the session today, I'll stick around for 5 to 10 minutes and tell you a little bit more about what my services are and how you can access me if that's of interest to you. And so some of you have worked with me before and talked to me many times, and you don't need that. So that's why I leave it until the end and I don't do it up front. So we will have that opportunity later on. So feel free to put little comments in the chat. I can read them, I think. I'm going to try my other glasses. Oh, and the other thing is I'm going to pull one of Danielle Laporte's truth bomb cards. Truth bombs. I quite like these because they bring in that element from the unknown that gives us something to bounce off, to interpret, something that's symbolic. So I'm just going to go in here and pick one. So today's says, people heal. So I don't always know what that's going to mean. So I'm going to leave it there in my box and come back to it at the end. Sometimes the things that I share during the session will, hi Kimberly, happy smoky Saturday to you too. We're a bit smoky here in Vancouver today. If any of you are joining us from other places like Whitehorse, hi Desiree. And hi Yvette. So we'll come back to that at the end and see if it makes more sense to us. So first off, my question from Robin. So Robin's question is, we need the other glasses for this. I'm between glasses at the moment, as you can tell. So Robin says, so conditions at work will change over the next couple of weeks, and I'm reconsidering my idea of retiring just yet. I've had lots of time to think over this last couple of months, and I have been feeling like I'm running away, and if things look like they can change, I'd like to be part of the rebuilding. Rick also has a job offer for a part-time gig that he's considering for a year or so. Does that sound like a good path to follow for the immediate future? So, around retirement, your guides are saying to me, you don't need to retire yet, unless you feel like you want to. There are still things that you can contribute. The scene is changing for everything all around the world right now. So any of us who are change influencers, supporters, lovers, we all have work to do right now, and we get to choose where we're going to do it. And that doesn't mean that there are some commitments that we've made, and I'm looking off out the window here because that's where my looking goes when I'm accessing information. We choose, we set an intention for our lifetime, and then we play that out over the course of our lifetime. And we have the opportunity. It's like in the business world, you management by objectives. You set your objectives for the year. You make your plan. You create your budget and all of that. And then you come back in monthly and quarterly, and you check in on them, and you adjust, and you make sure that everything is still on track. And if you need to make changes, you make changes. Well, we do the same thing with our lifetimes. We have a plan, and then we adjust according to need. So if somebody else in our life with whom we were going to engage changes how they're doing things, then we have to react to those changes. So in this case, Robin, they're saying that you still have the opportunity to make a contribution where you've been working, and there's a team there that you quite like working with. I would say, hi Claudine, I would say there's one person in that group that maybe it isn't a completely smooth relationship, but I still think that you have influence that could help that person. The person isn't being deliberately obstructive or a pain. This is not something that they mean to do, and you have influence with this person. Not everybody in the group does, but you do. And some of the influence that you have is on an energetic level. It may not be something you actually say to this person ever, but there's great power in witnessing. And so you see what's going on with this person, and you see where there are adjustments that could be made that would make things a little easier. So you may want to continue to play with this. In the second part of your question is about what could happen for Rick, because you and he are, spend time together, do things together. My sense is that there's a project that Rick would quite enjoy working on. He needs to stipulate that it's for a specific amount of time so that he can revisit that and decide if he wants to spend any longer involved with it or not. But there is an initial stage that he could be involved in that I think would suit him quite well. And there's a certain amount of freedom about being able to come back and do something after you're officially not in a job. And I think he's going to find that he quite enjoys that way of engaging. So I think that answers your question, Robin. If there's anything else that I can answer about that, stick it in the comments and I'll come back to it later. So also from last week, we have Moji. Moji says, my name is Moji and I have 2 adult children. My daughter, her name is Rojan, and my son, Dylan. My question is about their life in general and their future. Okay, so when we tune into somebody else who's not you and we don't have actual permission to work, then we have to go in what I call up and over. So we go in to the higher levels of consciousness, and then we go across to their higher level of consciousness, and we ask if it's appropriate for us to get information. And I get, my body's being a pendulum, I get a yes here. Yes, it's appropriate for us to ask about Rojan and Dylan. Then we set our intention. Always when we do this work, we set our intention for the highest good for all concerned, us and anybody we're asking about. So the information that will come through here will be to do with how you interact with them and anything that you can pass on to them that would be beneficial to them. So I'm checking. So I've got Moji. So now I go Rojan, yes, yes, Dylan. So the big one here, yes, the big one here is Dylan. So you're very welcome, Robin. So Dylan is at a stage in his life where he's feeling a bit vulnerable. And that doesn't mean he's weak. It means that there are a lot of moving pieces in his life right now, and he's trying to stay on the surfboard and not lose his balance. What he needs from you at the moment, Moji, is your belief in him. He needs you to help hold the big picture. So we all have a big picture for our lives. That comes back to what was our intention for this lifetime. So you are on a spiritual level, on the level of the soul family level, that and our immediate family, our biological family, is almost always, they're saying to me, always connected to us on a soul level. So you have access. When you agreed to be Dylan's mother, you have access to his life path and his intentions for this lifetime. And so you can help him to hold the knowledge of that through these turbulent times that we're going through and that he's going through as well. He's got a number of decisions to make at the moment about direction. There isn't a of the options that are sitting in front of him, there are none that are wrong. They're just ones that will give him pieces to explore in different ways. So there's a saying, all roads lead to Rome. So if you're heading to Rome, all the roads will lead there eventually. And my sense is no matter which option he picks, there are none that will scupper his chances to get to where he wants to get to, nor are there any that if he takes them, he'll miss out on an opportunity that wouldn't come up in some other way. So that, I think, is important for him to know. Whether he can hear it in that language or not, I'm not sure, but you'll know how to say that to him. But basically, he's on track still. He's just at a point where there's a lot of choices to be made, or potential choices. Rojen, obviously older. She's at 28. She's going into her Saturn return, which is when the planet Saturn comes back around to where it was in her natal chart, astrologically speaking. That whether you believe in astrology or not doesn't matter. It's that in this 28-year cycle, we come back to big, weighty decisions, because Saturn is a big planet and it has to do with rules, structure, foundations, authority. So at this stage in our lives, all of us, we are between the ages of 28 and 30, roughly. And then we start integrating it into our lives in our 30s. This is about us having the opportunity to make some big decisions. So this is often when we buy a home or make a major move. When I was 20, 28, 30, I was finishing my Saturn return. I changed career and moved across the continent. So like the big things like that. Often when we get married or when we have children, or they're the big ones. And what Saturn does is it comes and sits on top of you and it says, however you've been doing things up until now, well, find another way. You gotta to turn this over and see what else you can find. So Rojen is dealing with that right now. And so she needs you to hold her through, not make the decisions for her, not even influence those decisions, because she needs to know she can make those decisions for herself. But she needs you to hold the awareness that she's capable of making those decisions, that things will work out for her. Even if you see her making a decision that you don't believe is the best one, or one that you feel uncomfortable with. Hi, Chris. She needs to be able to do this for herself and handle the consequences from whatever happens. And I don't mean consequences as in disaster, then she has to clean up. Whatever decision we make at this point is going to be a big decision. It won't be made easily. This time of life is not about the easy decisions. These are about the ones where you have to do some real soul searching. So, Moji, you're in a coach role. You get to coach the kids while they go through making these big decisions. So they're both at decision-making points, but each of them in a slightly different way. So I hope that's helpful for you. And I think this will be helpful for other people as well. If you have people you influence and you support in your life, especially if they're making choices at the moment. Next question, also from last week, is from Kathy. Kathy says, should I consider going back to work to help them out even though I'm retired and there's no social distancing at work? It comes back to your gut feel about what's right for you. The work, there's a contribution, Kathy, that you can make in your workplace. You get to decide how you make that contribution. I don't want you to feel that you have to go into a workplace where you don't feel safe. So use your intuition to figure out what feels safe to you and then honor that. It isn't just about what's safe. It's about how you feel. Hi, Crystal. It's about how you feel when you're in there. So we want you, if you're going into a place, to feel safe. There may be a way that you can work remotely. There may be a way that you can work altered hours, i.e. staggered, like you go into your workplace at a time of day where you can get the work done, but you're not in there with as many people, so the social distancing is easier. But you're still, only you can know whether you are susceptible to picking up this virus, whether anybody who's carrying it is going to be in that workplace. And this fluctuates from day to day because we're all using our free will to make choices about who we associate with and how we associate with them. And so that means that a decision that you make today, you may want to revisit tomorrow or next week, but the gauge is this way. It's your intuition. Your intuition is your compass. It's your navigation tool for what's right for you in life. Hi, Moji. I just answered your question, so you'll be able to pick that up in the recording. So I would say you're having to revisit these decisions, Kathy. All of us here today, all of us in general, we have to revisit these decisions moment by moment. And we can make a decision that something feels safe for us right now, and by the end of the day, it may not be feeling safe. We need to honor that. And the way we honor it is by tuning into our intuition every day and getting used to how it feels, so that when it gives us a message that we feel a little bit precarious about acting on, we will be able to say, no, I know that this is my intuition. People say to me, how do you know? And I say, I know it in my bones. That like there's an internal knowing feeling that we get when our intuition is speaking to us with complete alignment and authority. And we're not being bossed around by someone else. Our intuition comes from who we are. It's our higher self, which is us. It's just a level of us that has better access to the big picture. So, Kathy, that's your answer to your question. And so consider it yes, and be clear that your decision, you can change it at any time, whether the organization likes it or not. You have the right to do that because it's your health and your well-being. Okay, Flora's question. Flora says, I'm wondering about why I keep getting the same dream about high school where I'm missing credits to graduate, can't find my locker, my schedule, have missed classes and communications from the school. However, I'm also aware that I finished university, etc. To note, my real high school experience was good academically, and I graduated with honors scholarships, etc. So this is a dream about a situation that isn't real in real life. And our dreams, I do quite a bit of work around dream interpretation. And that's, we have a dictionary that is specific to our dreams. So I know that when I dream about losing my wallet, that I'm dreaming about my identity. And that may not be true for everybody dreaming about losing their wallet. And some people may not dream about things like that. But it's a message for us from our own higher selves. So when I'm teaching this stuff, I talk about creating your own intuitive lexicon. And a lexicon is a highly specialized dictionary. So you can, there's archetypes, there's, Jung talks about archetypes, Carl Jung, psychology end of things. You can go into an alternative bookstore and find dictionaries of dream symbolism. But what's going to trump all of that is your own feeling about what those dreams mean to you, what the symbolism is in your dreams. And it could be daydreams, right? It's not always nighttime dreams. Some people don't remember what they dream at night, but they have daydreams. They have synchronicities in their life. So it depends on how your intuition is speaking to you. But if we come back to this one for you, Flora, I would say, what I always say when I'm interpreting dreams is, What were you calling for just before you had this dream? So what are the challenges that you're working on? What are the goals that you have? What are the intentions that you have set recently, conscious and maybe unconscious? If you've had this dream before, what was going on in your life at the time that you had those dreams, that dream before? The other dream, when you had the other dreams, what was going on in your life? And are there any similarities? We're looking for patterns here in dream interpretation, and we're looking for what's usual and what's highly unusual. What grabs your attention? We're also looking for where's the emotion? What's the emotion in that dream? What was the emotion you woke up with? So for instance, I had a dream the other night that I accidentally dialed the emergency services on my phone, and I couldn't figure out how to tell them not to come. That it was an accident. I didn't remember how I dialed them in the first place, and I didn't remember how to undo that. Now, I haven't unpacked that dream yet. I'm not exactly sure. Hi, Andrea. I'll come back to your question. I'll flick through at the end and see if we've got time for that. I think this is important for all of us around dreams, and I will be putting some material together in the next couple of months around what we can do with dream interpretation and playing with that. But I hope that helps you, Flora, in terms of you being able to interpret not just this dream, but future dreams as well. Next question is from Angelica. Angelica says, should we liquidate our investment, or rather is now the time? I get it, but that was a big immediate no. No to liquidating your investment. No, it's not the time right now. I think that it's a good idea to be prepared to liquidate this investment, but I don't actually think that there's a high probability that you will need to, contrary to how things are looking at the moment. So don't be worried about it, even though on the logical, reasonable, rational level, there looks like there's reason for you to be worried about it. So just hang tight for now. They're telling me that you should revisit this decision, and just to stay on top of it. October the 3rd, you should revisit it again. Why they're being so specific with the date, I'm not exactly sure, but October the 3rd, have a look at it. So, Angelica, there you go. There's the answer to your question. If you're just, I don't think you're just joining us, but if you've just joined us, then you can find it in the recording. Next question is from, I think it's Paula. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Paula says, I was wondering why my fingers get stuck bent for hours or days. So here we're talking about symptoms. An illness is a symptom of dis-ease of some kind, i.e. disease, but not necessarily a chronic disease. But so Paula's asking about this. So my answer to this is going to apply to you if you have chronic conditions. So I was wondering why my fingers get bent for hours from time to time, and I can't straighten them. I have that on both hands, but the left hand is worse now. Started 2 years ago out of the blue, woke up with both hands won't function. Is it a past life I'm working through? No, it's not a past life. It's in this one. The interpretation of symptoms like this is very similar to the interpretation of dreams. It's just that it's physical. Your body is manifesting it as opposed to your subconscious manifesting it for you at night. So everything that I just said to Flora about interpreting her dreams is also true for you around interpreting symptoms. So I would, if I were working with this with you, I would say what was going on in your life, give or take 2 to 6 months before the symptoms showed up. What were you calling for? In other words, what were you focusing on? What were you grappling with? What was the challenge at the time? What were you intending at that point? And then the left side of the body is the feminine. The yin side It's the side that has to do with the non-spatial, non-temporal, non-linear, non-rational side of how we live our lives, the feeling side. And so you had it on both sides, so that tells me that both are involved, but there's more on the intuition, left side. Can't straighten them, so I would say, what do your hands represent for you? What does straightening mean for you? Straight. What does straight mean? What does bent mean? What does crooked mean? Is there pain? So I think you said that there's pain. No, you didn't say there was pain. But if there's pain, what kind of pain is it? Where does it originate? Is it there all the time? Does it flare if you just do certain things? What are the things that you do that make it flare? Is there a time of day that it flares? So these are like, I'm giving you a whole sort of blurt of things to ask, to think about, to question when you're looking at what's going on with symptoms. So that's for you to use on your own. But what they're saying to me specifically about this symptom, that the hands are the extension of the heart chakra. So hands are how we reach out. It's how we make relationship. It's how we grasp. It's how we receive. It's how we give. And so my sense is that there's an aspect of giving and receiving here. And it may be that you're holding yourself back from reaching out to receive something. I don't think you're withholding around what you give. I think it has to do with feeling deserving about receiving. So I would ask you, what is it that you asked for that has now arrived and you're not sure if you want to receive it? So I will come back later on this afternoon and post my mantra in the group, and my mantra talks about you should expect success. That's one of the pieces in this mantra, and so that means if you're an outfielder, you don't want to be standing in the outfield, baseball analogy, with your hands in your pockets, because your job is to catch the ball, and you can't catch a ball if you've got your hands in your pockets. So if you're expecting the ball, you're going to be standing there like this, waiting to catch it. So I think that's, no, it's not a past life. It's something in this one. It goes back, I think, to when you were about 2 years old. There's something that happened to you when you were around 2 years old, or somebody in your life. There's something significant about age 2 that this is connected into. And if you can go and explore that, or if you can't remember it, maybe there's somebody who was in your life at that time who can remember that time for you. And if not, you can ask to receive that information in dreams or synchronicities, or maybe even work with a hypnotherapist who can take you back to that age. So we've got, it's just after 2. So any questions that you left for me on the feed here today, I will grab those and put them into next week for us so that I can answer them next week. So I hope that was helpful for you. We picked a card at the beginning of the session, which is from Danielle Laporte's Truth Bomb deck, her first one, and it says people heal. So people heal. And that can be taken in all kinds of different ways. People heal other people. People heal themselves. People do heal. If you've got a wound of some kind, or a pain, or a disease, or whatever, you will heal, and you'll heal. We don't want to be just looking at heal. You're welcome, Paula. We don't want to just be looking at healing on the physical level, because we can be healing spiritually. We can be healing across lifetimes. We can heal on a soul level. We can heal emotionally. We can heal thought patterns that we get stuck in. So there's lots of different ways. So people heal. We do heal. We heal. So expect success. So expect that healing to take place, and expect that we're engaged in the process of healing. Just like we get wounded all the time, we also get healing all the time. And healing can come from unexpected places. So expect success. The healing may come from somebody who is your quote unquote arch enemy. because sometimes those people who betray us in our lives are also the people who are connected to us on a soul level. They couldn't betray us, they couldn't hurt us that way if they weren't significant to us. So sometimes one of the things my guide said to me many years ago is, who loves you enough to betray you on a soul level? Who loves you enough to be the betrayer in your life, who's going to help you with your soul's work and your soul's healing? So lovely. So Desiree says, I'm expecting success. Yes, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. So we're at the end of our session for today. Thank you so much for being here and joining me. You're being here and you're asking questions and you're holding the container is wonderful for me to be able to do this work that we share with so many other people who aren't actually on the call today. So know that if you come back and listen to this in the recording, that you are as much a part of the process as I do this live as the people who are here. And I love to hear your comments. So if you've watched it, please let me know. It's great to hear who you are and where you're from, and whether it's some people have been giving me actual feedback about what the information has done for them, and I just love to hear that stuff. It's manna. So welcome. You're welcome to all of this. It's my great pleasure to be of service in this way. I will continue to do this until my guides and helpers tell me that I need to close it down. So I'm anticipating right now that we'll go right through the fall with this. So that's it for the official part of this. I will now transition into telling anybody who wants to know a little bit more about the services that I offer. So the rest of you, ciao for now, and I'll see you next Saturday. And any of you who'd like to know more about my services, let me tell you a little bit about that. I'm a full-blown psychic, and have known that I am for over 30 years now. There's lots of different names for this. A channel, a medium, a psychic, and intuitive. Like because we're not really comfortable with this. We've got lots of different words for it. But all of those have slightly different ways of operating. I use a lot of different ways. So a medium is somebody who talks to someone, some presence, some being that is not in the physical, and they relay the message. So I'm doing that. That can also be called channeling. I'm also an empath, so I pick things up from the person I'm reading in my body, in my emotions. So I experience, very often, I experience what's going on for you in my experience. So, and I know when I'm working that it's not mine, and then I work with it accordingly. Many of you out there are empaths and don't know what to do with it. And so part of the work that I do is helping people to understand how to identify that and what to do with it. So there's two main focuses to what I do. One of them is doing the readings. So I do them this way. I do them in what I call ping mini readings, which are good for just a little laser-like clarification, ping. And those are 15 minutes long, and I charge $30 for those. And right now, during this COVID virus, that's the only service I have where I have a fixed price on it. The rest of them are open. So I also do hour-long readings. And if you're interested in having one of those, I charge $175 for an hour. And if that creates any kind of hardship for you, then because I don't want to be I want you to be able to get what you need without having to sacrifice putting food on the table. So you can let me know what you can afford to pay, and then that's what I'll invoice you for if that's the case. And you can get at all of this through my website, which is powersorcerer.com, which is spelled SOURCERER. Deliberate misspelling, because I help you to find the source of your power. That's really the theme behind everything that I do is self-empowerment for you. So I do readings that way, and I also do reading circles. I just did one with a group from Whitehorse this week. So we anywhere between 6 and 15 people, we get together online, just like this. I do it on Zoom, and we can see everybody in the group. You can see everybody in the group, and so can I. And then I explain how I work, how I know that I can do this, how the energy works, all of that. I explain it. And then I go around the circle and I do a mini reading for everybody in the circle. And there's always a theme, and you always get something from what I say to all the other people in the group. So that's one of the best things about doing it in a circle. And it doesn't matter if it's a virtual circle and we're doing it online or if we're doing it in person. The energy doesn't know any boundaries, and so it works in the same way as when we're physically together. So if you're interested in any of those, you can find them through my website. Just go into services, and then it'll be listed under readings, and you can find all the different kinds of readings that I do. The other piece that I do is teaching people, coaching people. So I'm a niche coach in helping people to access, understand, get comfortable with, own, and use purposefully their own intuition. So that is what I call power in your back pocket, because so many people have said to me over the years, I wish I had you in my back pocket when I was going through X, Y, and Z, especially in a professional situation, and all of those big decision points in life. So I said, okay, I'll put me in your back pocket. So those are contracts, and I have free exploratory sessions online. So you can go onto my booking page and book an exploratory session for any of these offerings. They're always free. The one for Power in Your Back Pocket, the coaching piece, is an hour and a half long, and we actually do some coaching. That's why it's an hour and a half long. So I explain all about how that relationship works. There is no obligation. I will not make you feel badly if you decide it's not a good fit. That's why I have these exploratory sessions. I don't want anybody committing that much time or that many resources to something that isn't a good fit for them. So I want to give us both an opportunity to assess the fit before we get started. So that's Power in Your Back Pocket. And I also do it in a group environment, and I call that Power Circles. And that is at the moment being I'm about to offer online as well. And that's a longer program because it's spaced out over time, so that because you have to practice it. So you need enough time between the groups that I run and integrating it into your life with my coaching every month, and then coming back for the next session and doing that again. It's iterative. We do it over and over to get you to a level of confidence and competence, so that you really know what you're doing and how you're doing it. So that one is, there's an exploratory session for that too, and you can book that also through the booking page on my website. If you're using the booking page, I suggest that you give me 2 time date options, because sometimes the one you've asked for isn't available by the time I get it, and I will reply to you within 24 hours. So that's my quick spin through all of this. Ask Lucca Live comes up every week from 1:30 until 2 on Saturdays. If you have a question, you need to get it to me by noon, and then I will answer it. I post the recordings in a whole bunch of social media environments, so you can find it. You can also find it through my website. So that's all my goodies for today, to help you to get a clearer understanding of what I'm doing. Some of you may think that you are intuitive. Some of you may be full-blown intuitive, and those I certainly specialize in working with people who are trying to work through that. Whether you've had any previous training or not, that doesn't matter. We can still pick up from wherever you find yourself now. So have an amazing rest of your day also. Lovely to have all of you here today. Feel free to invite other people to join the group if you want to. You can automatically invite people in, and I see that coming up. I think we're over 200 members in the group now, which is really encouraging to see. And of course, many people don't show up in the live session. They watch it in the recordings, and you can do that. You can do that too. So if you've missed some, you want to go back and see previous ones, they're all in the feed. They're also on my YouTube channel that you can access from my website and see most of them. I think I missed the first two or three because I did them on a different platform and I couldn't save them. But the rest of them are all there for you to be able to tune into. And there's lots of good information and advice on there that are from the other questions that are asked. So you might find that interesting. So blessings to you all. Stay safe. And until next time, remember that you too can speak intuition.